Hi everyone, this is Linda. Thanks for tuning in. Here is a new pick a card reading for this moment. This reading is not time specific, so whenever you watch it can be relevant. Just tune in and collect whatever messages that you are needing at this time. So what we have here is a pick a card reading, so you can choose to watch just one of the elements if you're checking in on your sun sign, or if you want to know about issues relating specifically to what these modalities govern. So if you're looking for information with regard to issues such as finances, work, career, physical body, watch the earth reading. For issues about emotions, relationships, feelings, check out the water reading. For fire, if you're looking for issues with regard to sexuality, passion, creativity, and any challenges that you might be dealing with, watch the fire reading. And for air, any issues relating to communication, concepts, ideas, thoughts. So you can watch the whole reading in entirety to get a full, well-rounded reading on all those topics. Let's get started. So, from the earth element we have Hanged Man, Six of Swords reversed, the Moon reversed, and King of Pentacles. Let's pull all of the cards here. We have the Five of Cups reversed, the Queen of Swords, and the Hanged Man. So we've got the Hanged Man twice in this reading. That's really noteworthy. Okay. So what stands out to me about this little mini spread here is that we're looking at issues with regard to finances and work and home life, career, and we have the King of Pentacles here in reverse. So for some of you watching, it could be that you may have some issues in that area, something along the lines of maybe wanting to create changes or wanting to do things a little differently. And at the moment, you may be in a sort of temporary state of being sort of on pause and just listening. With the Hangman and the Moon here in this reading, I feel that you might be like good advice here could be that it's time to just be with yourself and listen and awaken to the knowing that's within you. The illumination that you're seeking with regard to clarity about your issue is within you. And I feel that for a lot of you, you actually already know what it is. And it's about surrendering to what you already know in order to move forward in your truth, Queen of Swords. You may have had disappointments in work or in finance or in your any earth topics that we've mentioned at the beginning there. But Hangman twice here is telling me that it's what the answers that you seek to whatever issue that you're inquiring about here is already within you. You have the answer. It's about surrendering and submitting to your own what's the word? You know, you could be pursuing things that you know are not working for you and not giving yourself the chance to actually do what you really love. The Six of Swords here is standing out to me. I feel like some of you watching here may be actually wanting to return to something that you used to do before. You might want to go back to a previous job or a specific type of skill that you used to do, perhaps when you were younger, that you did for fun. For some of you, that's writing with the Queen of Swords here and the Six of Swords. Some of you may wish to return to a time where you were practicing creative writing more, and some of you may wish to pursue that more as a career. With the Moon in reverse and also the Five of Cups in reverse, this watery element, bringing some kind of again, it's like something that you might have done in the past that you feel like you walked away from for whatever reason. Maybe you lost your inspiration for it, or maybe you kind of let go of something because you felt that maybe it wasn't possible to pursue a creative career to be successful financially. Perhaps that's something that that was ingrained in you by your family and your parents. And now you're wanting to kind of like take back your power and return to something that you feel very strongly about, but that you may have, had to compromise or sacrifice earlier on in order to pursue security and comfort. And yet, with the King of Pentacles here in the reverse position, for some of you, you might have given up on your dream because you were seeking this sort of security and safety of a secure job that paid well. And yet, here's the King of Pentacles in reverse. So either two ways I'm interpreting that. Either you compromised on something that you love to do for the comfort of the financial reward, but you have that financial reward, but you still don't have the satisfaction. And so there is a sort of sense of missing out, right? And then the other interpretation I would give for this is that you may have sacrificed or given up or compromised on doing the things that you really love that were creatively nurturing and satisfying to you to get that financially secure situation for yourself. And maybe you did it, but you still are not satisfied. Or you are not financially settled, even though you took that kind of conservative route of doing what seemed like the societally normal thing to take a kind of job that was safe and secure, and yet you're still not necessarily safe and secure. So you're wondering, why did I give up on the thing that I love to do to go for safety and security when I don't have that now? I still don't have that. I gave up on my love and my passion and my creativity for security and safety, but where the fuck is it? So yeah, I'm feeling like some of you are wanting to take a turn back to like things you used to do that brought you much joy, that helped you feel like you were tapping into your own source stream of energy from your deep subconscious mind or from like otherworldly places. For some of you, it's about communicating your thoughts and your ideas with the Queen of Swords through writing, through prose, through poetry. So if you are in a moment right now where you are experiencing loss and disappointment, turn that into an opportunity. Turn that into fuel to drive you forward to create that which you seek to pursue. Don't give up on your dreams. Do the things that make you happy. It's fascinating to me that the Hangman has come out twice in this reading. The Hangman is very much relating to the Piscean archetypes, very creative, and you have the Moon here as well. So all this water energy, very creative, very dreamy. So I feel like my job here is to encourage you to be more creative, to encourage you to be more dreamy, and bring through things that you are, envisioning, whether that's actual creative projects or just simply the fantasy of having the life you want and doing the type of work that you love every single day. But just be aware, be careful not to just let it be part of a fantasy that never actualizes. You must put in the effort and the work every day to actually make something come to life. That means having discipline, having a schedule and a routine, setting aside time every day to work on your craft, even if you still at this time have to maintain a job until you can actually turn this over. Be committed to what it is you're doing. Surrender to your creative force. Stop fighting against what you want, what you dream of. And be in the truth of that expression that wants to come through. Be real about it. Use your wisdom to tap into that higher creative power that's coming through. Be willing to risk a little bit, because as you've experienced, if that early part of the reading was resonating for you, where we're talking about, taking the route of security and safety, if that's what you did before, and you realize that either A, it didn't make you money, and B, it didn't satisfy you, then continue to pursue what is really yours to undertake. But do it with discipline, and do it with hope, and do it with positivity, and be uplifted about the journey to get there. And don't give up. All right, Earth, that's your reading. Let's move on to the water element. Water. We have the Hermit, Judgment in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, and Three of Pentacles upright. The Fool, Nine of Swords, and Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, water. Excuse me. So with regard to emotions, feelings, and relationships, what we have here is, I feel that for some of you watching this reading, you might have felt a little bit like there might have been some a difficulty with a collaboration or a person that you've been working with, or a love interest, however this is for you. And it might have brought about a turn of events that you may not have really seen coming, or you might still be in a space right now where you're kind of confused about this person and who they are to you and who you are to them. So that could be causing you some anxiety, because you may be feeling like this person is cold shouldering you, or ghosting you, or being a little what's the right word? Ambiguous about how they're feeling, whereas from your side you're probably feeling very clear. And keep in mind, the roles can be reversed in this situation. In all the readings, the roles can be reversed, so always keep that in mind. So you might be feeling yourself like a little bit in your having to kind of pull back into your own energy while someone has pulled away from you, and you're not really sure why, and seems like there hasn't been clear communication. And you may be feeling like you are not clear enough about where you stand in the situation to actually be able to move on into something fresh and clear of this other individual, because they may not have been communicative about it. They're kind of like leaving you feeling like you don't really know where they stand. But I have to say here, from what I can see in these cards, is I think that it's clear that this person has turned away from you. And if they're not communicating, that is actually communication. So from what I can see here with the Fool reverse, the Nine of Swords upright, and the Seven of Wands, I feel that, it's not hard when someone ghosts you, when you have feelings for them and you thought you were heading in a certain direction with them, and all of a sudden you have no idea where they are and how they feel or where they stand. But I think in those cases, it's always pretty obvious that they have actually made themselves clear, and they might not be, brave enough or strong enough to actually communicate that to you. Maybe they're afraid of hurting your feelings, and obviously that's going to happen anyway if they're, stepping away or changing their mind, or like getting cold feet, or however you want to express it. But it's important for you here. What I'm seeing here with the Hermit and the Judgment card in reverse is that you need to be strong and empowered in your own energy. And if someone is changing their mind about you or moving away from you and not communicating that clearly, it's important to not make it about you, right? If someone has chosen not to choose you, it's about what works and doesn't work for them. That doesn't mean you're not a good person. That doesn't mean you're not lovable. It doesn't mean you're not desirable, right? So don't turn it into that. Don't make it a head trip. You have the Nine of Swords here. You could be definitely overthinking this. You could be losing sleep. You could be having a lot of anxiety, and that's not fair to you. The point is to just accept the choices that other people have made. And with the Judgment here in reverse, it's how I'm seeing this is that this is about you learning not to be insecure about what other people do. Don't make it about you. How other people choose to walk through life and the decisions they've made, it's not for you to say. It's also not, here the Seven of Wands in reverse as well. It's like, don't be defensive about that. Don't try to keep pushing forward on them. Don't try to keep getting communication from them if it's not forthcoming. Just let it be. Accept, walk away, move on. There is, I feel here with this Three of Pentacles in this position of the reading, there could be other people that are kind of in the wings, ready to come forward and take that space. But you might be too caught up on somebody that maybe doesn't want you. And you need to accept that they don't want you, and not turn it into a big story and spend too much time grieving and mourning and feeling angry or resentful or bitter, or with any sort of self-judgment either. Trust that the decision they made is the how do I say that? Higher forces are at play. Right? If someone can't see you, then it's not a vibrational match, even if you think they're amazing. If they can't see you, then they're not really in your energy, and they can't really see fully who you are. So they're on an energetic level. Someone not choosing you is actually really fortunate, because it means that they are, even if they don't realize they're doing it, on an energetic level, they understand that you don't have karma. There's nothing to figure out there. There's nothing to work through. There's nothing to do. So don't try to make it something that it's not. Accept what it is and be ready for the new cycle that's opening up. Be in your own energy. Be self-loving. Be self-contained. See your own light within you and stop waiting for someone else to see that. Accept the choices other people have made and don't make it into something bigger than it is. Stop trying to get communication from them if they're not responding to you. Just let it be. Stop checking their social media. Leave it alone. Okay, water. I feel that's it for your reading. Just checking over one more time. Yeah. Move towards getting to this position where the Fool here is in the upright position, where see how you're ready to move on and step off into the next cycle with all your trust and your joy and your lightheartedness available and open to be received by the universe, to have gifts come to you. You're safe and whole in your own energy. I actually really love the Hermit and the Fool together in this reading. Moving on from old cycles and not carrying forward any of the baggage from any leftovers that might be there. Do your work, do your due diligence here to clean up any residual energy that might be resentful or bitter or angry, and just clean up. Don't let any of that come forward with you into the next cycle. Because there is, as I said, I do feel there is someone waiting in the wings to come in, but you need to create space for them. So let go. All right. Up next, we have Fire. King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Death, and Strength. Wow, this is a really powerful reading here for the fire element. What else? The Tower, Seven of Cups, and Five of Coins. This is a really powerful reading. So, what I'm feeling here, and remember, fire element is about sexuality, passion, and potentially challenges. It doesn't have to be all of those things. It could just be elements of, let's just see what they have to say. So, King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Death, and Strength in reverse with Tower, Seven of Cups, and Five of Coins. First of all, a lot of major arcana energy that's very transformative, very strong, very catalyzing energy. There's something very catalyzing about this spread. So a person may be initiating a new beginning, right? This King of Cups could be showing up. It could be you, this King of Cups. You could be embodying a certain type of emotional intelligence at this time that you're kind of coming into, or you're starting to learn how to embody. And you want to use that emotional intelligence to start a new beginning in the physical reality that you've made, that you're creating. And in doing so, you are letting go of old ways of being, old times in life, cycles have gone by that you are now closing out with the Tower and the Death in this reading, that are helping you move on from the old being that you were, the old person you were. Old patterns are dying off. It's like you've awoken to some certain kind of levels of your own. What was unconscious has become conscious in terms of your mechanisms that you've been using to move through life. And you're coming into this moment, this phase, with a greater emotional intelligence that is going to allow you to break free from some old karmic patterns, from some egoic tendencies, some mindless and thoughtless ways of acting and being and behaving, and coming into a space where you're using your emotional intelligence to address the new era that you're moving into, and how you want to present yourself, or what kind of ways you want to embody that new emotional wisdom that you're stepping into. It's beautiful. I like this reading. So this could be for some of you, because remember this card was also about, could be about sexual energy and creativity. So for some people, this is about moving into a new, it could be some kind of new, either new business or new relationship perhaps. But as far as the challenges go here, there is this energy in the reading with the Tower here, 7 of Cups and 5 of Coins. I feel like some people here are learning through challenging times of having made losses, or maybe what is happening here in this top row is actually the result of what happens when you've gone through some experiences here where maybe choices that you made in the past have eventuated in some disappointments, or some even financial loss or illness, or some kind of karmic situation here where you are being schooled by life through some kind of event that seemed like a catastrophe or disaster, but actually it really schooled you in a way that it actually brought you to this King of Cups moment. So while it may have been hard, may have been challenging to go through this complex and possibly karmic situation here, it's brought you through a massive transformation now, where you are embodying this King of Cups energy, and you're emotionally intelligent and heavily upgraded from your old patterns of behavior. Something major here has really shifted, and it's really, really good for you. Old parts of you are dying away with the Death card and the Tower card, even Strength. There's a lot of transformative energy here. So as I said, while you may have been through something very trying and rather difficult, it's been very catalyzing and transforming to go through this and understand how you actually created this situation so that you could evolve past these kind of narrow and limiting ways of being in the world that created sort of complex, unnecessarily complex, or even manipulative. Like I could see here that potentially you could be coming out of a situation where maybe you realized that you were not being responsible enough, or that maybe you were trying to work some angles that weren't really altogether on the up and up. And maybe you did come through that with a loss, but that showed you that that's the result of those kind of choices. And so you've arrived at this place of leveling up in your emotional intelligence. And so moving forward, you're going to create new things, start new projects, plant new seeds with this greater wisdom that you are now embodying. Strength in reverse here, I'm just feeling it in terms of if you have come through something really difficult, and maybe you still haven't come completely out the other side of it. Your higher self and your guides are just saying that you have got what it takes to make it through this challenging experience, and you can certainly, as I said, turn all of that challenging, difficult learning stuff into opportunity to become someone new, but actually your true, more authentic self, by breaking through old limiting structures and beliefs and ways of being in the world that were not really serving you. You might have felt like you could get ahead a certain way, but the truth is, like, morality and values and integrity are far more important than getting ahead financially or edging out your competition in something. And I think you can see that. So Strength is here just to say, along with the death. You're still in the transformative process. You're still converting and catalyzing the energy of this situation here to really transform yourself and transmute that old energy and alchemize it. There's an alchemy in this reading for sure. Use the element of fire to actually burn and purify all that stuff that needs to get out of your auric field. Any like old karmic patterns and things that you've been doing, ways of behaving, thought forms, all that kind of stuff. Even certain types of language that you may have been using a lot. Like, use this opportunity to reprogram on a deep level and use fire magic as a ritual tool to actually, not just in a kind of fluffy, ornamental way, but in a real way. Like, use the element of fire. You don't actually have to burn something, but you tap into the energy that the fire element is and work with it to purify and cleanse old stuff that's actually physically in your cellular body. Use your magic. Awaken to the ritual nature of life and start to work more on this elemental level, and you'll see how much your life actually transforms, and you can really communicate with life in a particular way. You can support changes that you need to make through these kind of symbolic but very real ritual practices. Fire, that's it. I'm going to close that one up. And lastly, we have the air element. Let's see what we have. Air. 7 of Swords. Temperance reversed, 10 of Pentacles reversed, Ace of Swords, 8 of Swords reversed, 6 of Cups reversed, and 9 of Cups reversed. Okay. So 3 Swords cards here out of this reading for the air element. So clearly there's some communications and ideas here that are being transformed. What I'm feeling in this reading is that for some of you watching this, that you may be dealing with someone who has revealed themselves to be dishonest. It could be someone very close to home, like someone in your home environment, a close person that is a loved one or a family member, or someone you consider to be a family member. They may not be related to you. But I feel like you could be dealing here with someone who may have been deceitful or dishonest towards you, who may have stolen from you, or have just simply been just shady, dishonest, lying by omission. It could be there's someone trying to hide some information, and you may have already understood this. Somehow it might have already been revealed, because you have the Ace of Swords up right here. So I feel like someone was trying to hide the truth from you, or was trying to be cunning in a certain way, but you have already understood that and you're aware of it. But then all the other cards in this reading are in reverse. And reversals it's not as black and white as that being good or bad. It doesn't mean that. It's not that basic, so don't reduct it to that. But what I'm seeing here is that this is very hurtful to you. 6 of Cups, 9 of Cups in reverse. This person 6 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles are both cards that talk about very close relationships, family members, soulmates, intimate people who are very close to you. And if this kind of energy is what's playing out, that really hurts. 8 of Swords, 9 of Cups, like 9 of Cups reversed, that really has affected your wellness, your health, your emotional state, your sense of well-being, your personal confidence, your personal, like the way you, this is a very personal attack in a way. You feel personally attacked. The person may not have been deliberately trying to attack you per se, but somehow you're perceiving their behavior to be very personal, and it's very painful to you. Temperance is here in your reading saying that the challenge for you here is to find a way to forgive this person and accept what they've done. When I talk about forgiveness and acceptance, I'm not talking about, absolving someone from any wrongdoing, not at all. Forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook for bad behavior. Definitely not. Definitely not. It's about how you choose to resolve the energy within you so that you don't continue to feel pain as a result of someone's poor behavior and decisions. It's really important to keep that in mind. And I'm not saying you have to do that right now, because this looks pretty fresh to me. This might just be happening. And I'm not trying to bypass here and tell you that you should forgive and let go and move on and everything's okay and it all happened for a reason. Definitely not. Definitely not. But what I am seeing here is that, there could be a process here where you need to grieve. One thing I'm seeing here, though, with the Eight of Swords, Seven of Swords upright, Eight of Swords in reverse, and then this Ace of Swords here. So this Seven of Swords is representing the bad behavior, the dishonesty, the fakery, the fuckery, the thievery, whatever it is. Ace of Swords here is you understanding the truth and realizing that this person is not who they've been presenting themselves as. But this Eight of Swords here is also you realizing the truth. It's you coming out of some kind of not delusional state, but just simply the truth being revealed means that you are now free from any kind of sense of fantasy or bondage as well. Like there's an element of this giving you some freedom. The truth of the matter here is allowing you to have freedom that you may not have had access to before because you were living under a lie when you didn't know it, right? So I also feel in this reading there's definitely an energy of protection from your spiritual entourage, from your higher self, from whatever you call that energy, from, intelligence in the unseen world is definitely presenting here and helping to show you who a person really is. And it's really important that you actually take those cues for what they are and don't stay in this space of being blindfolded to the truth and being in denial about what's really happening. It's important that you acknowledge and accept what you have learned and use that to then heal and move on and work with, making the necessary adjustments that you need to make. Like, for example, if this person is, living in your house, it might not be that, of course it depends on every individual, like what level of deceit we're talking about here. Like, if this person is someone like you really trust and is very close to you, and, for example, it could be someone that lives with you but may not be a family member, then maybe you need to ask that person to move out. One example, right? Because the Ten of Pentacles is the home life. So this person, if it's not a family member but they live with you, maybe it's a roommate or something, and maybe they've done something that's shady either towards you or to other people, then your work here could be also to not only protect yourself from any possible future events where this person could have the chance to do the same again, or if you're in a shared space with other people, then you want to protect them from this kind of possible repeat event as well. If a person has showed you who they are, then you've got to believe them. If you've discovered something about a person, I'm not saying that like it's entirely unforgivable, but it seems from the cards here like this has been a very hurtful situation, and you're gonna need time here to heal and recover from this situation, and you will also probably need some time to decide whether or not you're gonna keep this person in your life. That part I don't really see here, except the Six of Cups in reverse. Like, as I said, Six of Cups is a sort of soulmate card. It's the energy of like very close and intimate, but soulmates, it's a very fluffy, new agey kind of way to talk about relationships. If there's someone in your life that you have this kind of energy with, quite often there's karma. There's shit to work out. It's not going to be all flowers and long romantic walks on the beach. There's work to do. And for some people watching this reading, if what I'm talking about here is resonating, and we are looking at it as like a soulmate connection here, that could be what you're realizing here, is that there is some past life energy in this reading where this person there might have been some residual, energy from a previous time where there was this sort of deceit and deception and lies, and this person coming back around to show himself again or herself again to you. This could be part of your healing from a long thread of you maybe being overly, I want to be careful how I say this, overly generous with a person and like giving them too much space to continue to behave badly. And with the Nine of Cups in reverse here, how I'm seeing this is, you know, this could be about you learning about really fierce, unconditional self-love, where you close the door to a person who has behaved badly repeatedly and doesn't deserve to be in your close inner circle. You know what I'm saying? You can love someone, but it doesn't mean you have to let them have that space that's that close to you where they can take the piss out of you again. You know what I mean? So be aware about having the right boundaries for the right people. Be more discerning in the way you view people. It's not about being judgmental. I think you're afraid to be judgmental. You don't want to see a person a certain way because you feel like that's not loving and kind. But what about loving and kind to yourself? What about being discerning and honest with yourself about who a person really is? And having clear boundaries so that you don't put yourself in situations where you're constantly cleaning up someone's fuckery. Or dealing with this kind of pain because you let them too close to you and you probably knew that they were already this way. I'm not victim blaming here. I'm trying to make a point here about using your wisdom and your discernment to understand who people really are. Doesn't mean you have to be unkind to them, but maybe you're just not going to let them live with you and you're not going to let them be that close. Right? Okay, friends. That's it for this reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next reading.